We're back finally after a long 2 months of no football. It's nearly here. The best league in the world, even though the Saudis might disagree, the Premier League is nearly back. In a week's time, Man City will kick us off against Burnley on Friday night, and we're going to be here for the next 10 months, or however long it is, to discuss all the juicy bits when it comes to the Premier League and other leagues as well. Welcome to Streets Won't Forget podcast. I'm Dodzi, your host, and today I'm joined by Louie.
Yes, guys, it's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Louie, how you been doing? How have you been coping with no football, man?
Do you know what? The cricket see me through for a couple months. Didn't like the way it went. I mean, we didn't lose, but it is what it is, man. So that's been seeing me through. Obviously, we had Wimbledon as well. Feels like ages ago now. And then, like, transfer season's always a bit interesting. I don't really like knowing too much. I used to prefer it back in the day where it was bang, the deal would happen and it would surprise, and now it's like Fabrizio knows before the player's mum knows. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to the new season. Obviously the EFL season starts tomorrow. Looking forward to Southampton, Sheffield Wednesday. So that would be nice. And then the week after, Premier League. And we've got, we say 10 months, but there's the Euros next year, so we've got a whole 11 months.
It's like an international tournament every year, isn't it?
Yeah, man. Right. COVID kind of blessed it a little bit.
Yeah. Because those are the best times. Those are the best times in terms of football.
And I think England have a good chance, man.
Definitely. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the top 10 players currently playing in the Premier League, and we'll see if a few England players do come up. Just with the top 10, we've done a few now. This is Premier League. We've done the world. We've done all time. Was it easier to do this list, or was it harder than other lists gone by that we've done?
I think for me personally, I didn't struggle too much, but it was difficult because there's probably 20 players I could have put in the list, and then there's people who you don't put in, and then you think about it afterwards and you should have put them in. Like, I've got a couple that we'll get onto when we do the list, but I didn't find it too difficult because I'm kind of set with who I know. But there's a couple people who were like, it was unfortunate they missed out on my list. What about you?
Yeah, I found it easy, you know. I'm not going to lie. Because all time is hard because you've got players.
Yeah, that's tough, bro.
You've got different eras. You've got players you ain't watched necessarily week in, week out, but you have to pay them homage.
I think other than the top 3 or 4, that one was hard.
Yeah, that one was difficult. And then obviously the world is similar. You're not watching, as Premier League is the league I watch the most, but you can't just go off that. So yeah, but then again, my team is in the Premier League, Arsenal, so I don't want to be too biased. So that was probably the only difficulty I had with it. But yeah, it was interesting with people's votes. Like, I would say this had the least shouts where I was like, what? But we're going to go through the players now who didn't make the list. In total, I can't tell you the exact number, but a lot of players got votes. Starting with Ivan Toney got 1 vote.
I know who that was.
Yeah, we know who that was. Christopher Nkunku got 1 vote. Trent, Ake, Mitoma got a vote.
Wow.
Ederson, Lisandro Martinez got 1 vote. Emi Martinez got a vote. Declan Rice got 1 vote. Most of his players in the league. Not in the top 10 yet. Maybe in a year's time, we'll see. Caicedo, who's, you know, is he going to Chelsea? Is he not? We don't know. He got 1 vote.
Really?
Yeah. Caicedo got 1 vote. Fairly high. I mean, I wouldn't have had him in my list, but...
Yeah, neither, but fairs, man.
Yeah, another centre mid with mad potential. Heung-min Son, Bruno Guimaraes, and then just outside the top 10 was John Stones, who got 4 votes.
Okay.
Didn't quite make it. Joined with Alisson, who was in mine and your list.
Yep.
Didn't quite make it. Bernardo Silva didn't quite make it. And then just at 11th place, Bruno Fernandes.
That's crazy,
didn't make the list.
He didn't make the top 10.
Bruno didn't make the top 10
in the Premier League.
No.
That's
Streets don't forget.
Crazy.
Friends and family of the show do not think he's in the top 10 players to play in the Premier League.
This is what I mean when I say he's actually underrated.
Yeah, you reckon?
Yeah.
I didn't actually have him on my list, to be fair.
Did you not?
He was between him and another guy for 10th. So
I think I know who your other guy is, and it's gonna piss me off, bro.
Yeah. We'll
Sorry
see.
for my French, but
let's not waste any more time, because I usually do when it comes to these top 10s. But let's get into it. At number 10, the player who beat Bruno Fernandes, the only defender to make this list, his fellow countryman. He was labelled when he signed for Man City as the make or break signing for Pep by Jamie Carragher. Can you believe that?
Really?
Yeah.
Did he say that?
Yeah, he said it on I don't know if it was Monday Night Football, but I know Man City at the time lost 5-2 to Leicester, and he said if this transfer doesn't work, it could be Pep at City done.
Wow, how times change, bro.
How times change. Ruben Dias.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only defender in this list wasn't in your list, I don't think.
No, he wasn't. I had John Stones ahead of him.
John Stones ahead of him. So, is he the best defender in the Premier League, period?
I think in terms of like a raw defender, yes. The reason I had Stones in there is because I think in terms of what he offers you on a football pitch, in terms of the intangibles as a defender, but also in terms of his progression with his dribbling, with his passing, the fact he's obviously able to play in midfield, the fact I can't remember the last time he had a bad game. I remember again when he's another one when City first signed him, people questioned the price tag, but they also said this guy's not that good. He had times where even I said it myself. I remember a quote from myself. I said sometimes he doesn't know when to clear the ball and he doesn't know when to play the ball. But shows how much I know, because the fact that he was so good on the ball, Pep's seen that. And then that's just, I think he's England's pound for pound our best player. Wow. Obviously, Harry Kane's there. But I think in terms of if I could lose one player, if I could pick one player I wouldn't want to lose for England, it would be John Stones, mainly because the options outside of him aren't that great.
Yeah.
I know we've got Colwell, Maguire does well for England, but I think he is a better footballer than Ruben Dias. But Ruben Dias as a raw defender, in terms of box defending, in terms of putting your body where it hurts, and in terms of being a leader, he's probably the best defender in the league, probably in the world right now.
Yeah.
And that's not to say he's not good on the ball, because he is. He's not as good as John Stones on the ball, but he's good on the ball. Otherwise, he wouldn't play in a Pep team.
Yeah, I agree. Ruben Dias definitely deserves to be in there. Just because the impact he made, I love Van Dijk, but Ruben Dias probably made just as much of an impact.
Levels,
I think Van Dijk did. I'm not going to lie. If you think about it, his first season was phenomenal. However, Ruben Dias, when he does go to Portugal, he's not quite the same as he is at Man City. Would you say the system at Man City kind of protects him a little bit?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think, if anything, the system at Portugal exposes them a little bit just because of the makeup of their team. But it's a good point you make, and that's, again, why, Bruno Fernandes didn't make the top 10, but his levels don't drop when he plays for Portugal, when he plays for United. But I think, especially under Fernando Santos, for Portugal, I think the team was a bit all over the place at times. Especially when they started to get a better crop of players in. When they had an average crop of players, they did well. Yeah. But when they had a better crop of players, the quality of the football decreased. And, it's a typical international manager where people call him out, and eventually it just didn't work. But no, I don't think he gets protected by Man City's system. I just think the level of player Man City have, and the level of player Portugal have, and the level of tactics and the level of management City have, and the level of... It's just chalk and cheese. But I still think he's Portugal's best defender when he does play. But yeah, it's just the people next to him.
Yeah, no, I agree. He's playing with a couple, I won't say bozos of Portugal, but maybe players like Guerrero's, Cancelo's, who I know Cancelo doesn't play for City anymore. But
they're good players, but it's different. And his partner next to him is Pepe, who's 40 years old.
Exactly.
For a footballer, that's, you're looking at, you should have been a manager 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Not much you can do there. We'll move on then to number 9. Let me get that. Number 9 in this list, our first player from the other side of Manchester United, coming on the back of his most productive year. And he's had a few productive years, to be fair to him. Marcus Rashford, OBE. I don't know if he's got an OBE. I think he does.
He does, in fact, yeah.
Yeah. 30 goals, 11 assists last season.
Yeah.
Was a great season for him. Trying to get the rest of the stats.
He wasn't in my list, but I regretted not putting him in, because there was a time just after the World Cup last year where he was probably the best player in the world for a good 2 months. And he was scoring every game. He was United's only goal scorer, really.
Yeah.
But to me, I just think... I keep going back to it, but I think Bruno Fernandes is Man United's best player.
Wow.
In terms of consistency, in terms of level of performance over the past couple of years. And the amount of goals that Rashford scored, how many of them does he owe to Bruno Fernandes, really? I think 70% of his goals he probably owes to Bruno Fernandes last year. And look, Rashford, in terms of a threat, he's always a threat because of his pace. But there's games where teams maybe sit a bit deeper and he becomes a lot less effective. He has got better at it, against Wolves, against West Ham. Scored some goals in tight games against teams who sat back. But ninth, I can hear ninth.
Yeah.
I can hear ninth. If I was to redo my list, I probably would have had him 10th because I had Alisson 10th. And he's the best goalkeeper in the league, but how high do you rate goalkeepers?
Not too high.
So, I think ninth's fair.
Yeah, he's done well because last season I wasn't a big fan of his. He's got himself back into the England team now, ahead of Sterling, ahead of Grealish probably. Last season was phenomenal for him. Scored in 10 consecutive games at Old Trafford, which is a Man United record. Scored against City, Arsenal, Barcelona, Liverpool. Near enough every big game United had. And every big game United won, Rashford was scored in.
Spurs.
Yeah. But would you say last year was the year he established himself as a world-class forward?
Yes, I would. I mean, there was before last season, for 2 seasons before, he was one of United's best players. But he kind of has these purple patches where he'll go absolutely mental for a few months and then he'll come off a little bit. So I want to see that consistency from him. And if he has another year like that, he's in the top 5, let alone the top 10. Yeah. But for me, last season, if you're judging it solely on last season, he's top 10. But yeah, it was the season he cemented himself, got himself into the world-class level. He hasn't cemented himself there yet because I think it's unfair to put him in that level and not someone like a Heung-min Son who's done it consistently over the past 5 years. I think Saka's done it a couple of years now as well. And you can even argue Martinelli last year was performing at a world-class level as well. So I think it's unfair to put him in that bracket and not others. If he can have the same season he had last year, this year, then 100% he's a world-class footballer. I think he's got all the ability. There's not anything he can't do with a football. There's certain games he needs to be more effective for me.
Yeah, I hear that. He's definitely a player who, he can score and then goes for the whole game, to be honest. Kind of a moments player, but his moments carry United sometimes very far. We will actually kind of discuss him again as we discuss our number 8 pick, our first midfielder on this list, a player with probably one of the most impressive resumes in the Premier League currently. Not known as a goal scorer, but last season was one of his better seasons for scoring goals, 7 goals. And some people say he's United's most valuable player over Rashford and Bruno Fernandes. Carlos Henrique Casemiro at number 8. I'll actually go there with that. Out of Casemiro, Bruno and Rashford, rank those 3 in terms of their importance to Man United.
In terms of their importance to Man United?
Yeah.
It's tough, man. Yeah. It's tough. It's skewed a bit by the fact that if Bruno's not there, then you've got Mount, you've got Eriksen. If Rashford's not there, you haven't really got anyone. And if Casemiro's not there, you've got McTominay, who's not a DM. I think in terms of who I think is a better player for United, I'd rank Bruno, Rashford, Casemiro. In terms of their importance, I'd probably say Casemiro, Bruno, Rashford. No, Casemiro, Rashford, Bruno. Reason being is Casemiro knows that position. And without him, the level significantly drop. But there is also things that he does that annoy me a lot. He gets carded way too easily. His back-to-back red card situation last year, that did my head in. Yeah. And the fact that, last year, I think, if United go to the Emirates with Casemiro, I think they win that game, and I think that's a turning point for the season. Wow. I think they can push further, but he went and got that stupid yellow card against Palace, which could have been a red, to be honest, on its own. He just flew in, and he knew that he was a suspension away he was a booking away from a suspension, and he just flew in, and I just thought, for an experienced, multiple-time Champions League winner, multiple league title winner in Spain, so stupid. Yeah. So stupid. I don't think many other DMs do that in the world, but I guess that's what makes him great as well, because 9 times out of 10 he probably wins that tackle, and he's probably won that tackle millions of times throughout his life. So I just think sometimes maybe last year he was doing a bit too much. But look, he came up with some important goals. Obviously, the goal in the Carabao Cup final. So he's valuable, and he's probably the most important player just because without him, the levels drop. If Amrabat signed, he maybe goes down that pecking order a little bit in terms of importance. He still starts ahead of Amrabat or with him.
Yeah.
But I think if Amrabat comes in or if another DM comes in, the importance drops and the reliance drops, which I think would be good for Ten Hag because, you know, if a guy's got a record of getting yellow cards and suspensions, you can't rely on them too much.
Yeah, no, I agree with what you said, to be fair. When he was playing, you could see the impact he had in the team. They were crying out for a DM. They were looking at Rabiot. They were playing McTominay there. Looks like his career's done. But yeah, it's the red cards, and not even just that. Like you saw that Anfield game, careless on the ball at times. Would you say there was a point United fans kind of got ahead of themselves with Casemiro last season? I mean, I heard talk he was the best DM ever.
There's still an argument for that.
Really?
There's still an argument for that. I think, me personally, when I reflect on it, I'm the one who said that. But me personally reflecting on it, Busquets for me is the best DM of all time. But there's an argument that he is the best DM of all time, Casemiro, because
the guys like Pirlo.
Well, you just have to look at his CV.
Yeah.
In terms of the league titles he's won, in terms of the Champions Leagues he's won, in terms of being at that top level for so long, coming to the Premier League, winning a trophy in your first season, getting all the objectives for that season. The objective for Man United should be to win the league, but for that specific season it was fourth. Fourth and a trophy, and that was achieved. Got 7 goals, chipped in with some great goals. So, and he's always come up with big goals. He scored in the Champions League final, scored in the Champions League semi-final as well.
Yeah.
So he's always been a big game player, and his CV speaks for itself. He's always amazing for Brazil as well. So I do think there's an argument for that. I think Busquets is probably number 1 and he's probably number 2. Because for me, Pirlo, I mean, it's different. He's not really a DM. He's
He's still a sitting midfielder though for most teams he played.
It's different though because
when Gattuso.
Yeah, when Pirlo was in his pomp, he had Gattuso, and then even at Juventus, he had Vidal next to him as well, who would do a lot of the tackling and the running for him. So it's different. Whereas with Real Madrid, Casemiro was the one who was doing the running and the tackling, and he let the silkier guys do their stuff with the ball. So I think there's an argument for that, and I think there's an argument for him being the best DM in the Premier League as well. I'd probably have Rodri right now, but I do think there is an argument for that. So look, people are always going to go over the top with players, but I think the comparison that Arsenal fans were making particularly was disrespectful to Casemiro personally.
Yeah, my guy, number 5. Obviously, if we're talking strictly on the pitch, I don't know, man. I think this guy's the most disrespectful player in the Premier League, low key, man.
I think it's a different level.
What, you think Casemiro is a different level?
I think Casemiro is a different level, and I think Rodri's a different level.
Mate, I know it's only pre-season, but look how we were talking about him when Declan Rice signed, and now look how we're talking about him. Everyone's saying, right, Partey is the 6, and Rice got to fight it out with Havertz for 8. Can you believe that? 100 mil sign's got to fight it out.
If you had Casemiro, that wouldn't have even been a discussion. Rice replacing Casemiro.
Because of reputation.
No,
for one reason or another, Partey doesn't have... Yeah, fair enough. Look, Casemiro has been part of these successful teams, but just watch Partey and tell me a better DM in terms of finding the player between the lines in the league.
Rodri.
Maybe even in the world. Rodri's not better than Partey at finding the player between the lines.
I think
he's probably better in possession. He's probably less likely to lose you the ball, but between the lines, Partey is...
Guimaraes?
Nah, man. I'm saying, bro, Partey on the ball is unbelievable. His press resistance as well.
He's a good player on the ball, but I mean, you say that, but then I think he gets caught a lot from his blind side, which is something I've seen highlighted. I've seen Umar highlight that. Shout out him on Twitter. I've seen him highlight that where he gave examples of it, and there was about 10, 15 examples where when he's on the ball, he gets pressured from the blind side, loses the ball, and then there's either been counter-attacks which almost led to a goal, or counter-attacks that did lead to a goal, and it happened against Man City as well. He got caught on his blind side, and they went and scored from it.
No, it didn't. He got caught, but that wasn't what led to the goal. KDB went past him, yeah. And again, that game, right, you had that moment where KDB went past him, scored a goal, and he had a moment in the corner. I don't know what happened, but like, it was so overdrawn how bad his end of the season was last season,
and against West Ham as well. That
that moment of Rice, but
that was stupid, man.
It's poor, but Casemiro, 2 shocking red cards, and many games where he's been careless on the ball. I don't know. I think if you look at them all last season, overall, I think Partey was second, man. I can't lie. I think he was ahead. I think he was ahead.
I don't think so.
I think United has been starved for a DM for so long. Yeah, like, saw Casemiro come in. Obviously, Casemiro is a baller, but anything he was doing, they were like, right, F me, man. This guy's the GOAT. I don't know, man. You got to see Arsenal's record with and without Partey as well,
and United's record with and without Casemiro is probably worse.
Yeah, of course, but like, your midfield was worse than ours last season, so like, of course he's going to be more important. I don't know. It's styles. I just couldn't imagine Casemiro in the 6 at Arsenal, like doing what Partey does. Same way, probably United fans can't imagine Partey doing what Casemiro does, because Casemiro is better in the duels. But I don't know, for a footballing team, I'd rather have Partey, and I think we're going to see it this season.
You'd rather for a football. So you think you can play for Real Madrid for the best part of 10 years?
There were seasons where Atletico Madrid would finish ahead of Real Madrid. It wasn't like Real Madrid were this serial league winning. They weren't amazing.
Atletico Madrid weren't a footballing team, and Partey was very good for them.
Yeah, Rodri was good for them as well. They weren't a footballing team, but like, yes, Casemiro was part of these successful Real Madrid teams in the Champions League,
and Brazil as well. Brazil, I know they underwhelmed at the World Cup. But he was there by himself, basically, with Paqueta and Neymar in front of him, and for me, he was their best player in the World Cup. And he held it down in a football. Brazil is the pinnacle of footballing team. You can't have a Brazil team and not play good football. No matter the result, you have to play good football. So
they're probably not a better footballing team than midfield. Croatia got better midfield in terms of football, like keeping the ball. Like, Brazil have Paqueta,
maybe, but Casemiro. In terms of the whole team, you have to be good footballers to play. To start for Brazil, you have to be a good footballer. Be good. I'm
not saying he's not a bad footballer. Like, he's clearly a good footballer, but I just think, I don't know, I think Partey is a better footballer on the ball than Casemiro, easily, to be honest. Like,
I think Casemiro doesn't need to be a better footballer than him. And do DMs need to find people in between the lines?
For good teams, yeah, you can't just be and this was why I was a bit worried about the Rice signing, because you can't just be a destroyer DM. Like, we had that with Coquelin. He was the best destroyer in the league for about a year. Then once we needed to actually improve the levels, he was crap. Idrissa Gueye, and you could even say Kante, to be honest. Like, he can never play sitting midfield because his ability on the ball wasn't quite that of Matic's. So,
but then a good coach will set up a system where it brings out the best in different players. So, for instance, there was times Casemiro, when he was in the build-up for Real Madrid, wasn't the deepest midfielder. He was a lot higher than what Kroos and Modric were. So, if they did lose the ball, Casemiro would win the second ball and then get it back and give it to the people who... So, he did his job to the best possible level, and that meant that other guys can do their job to a best possible level as well. I think by Partey being that good on the ball but not being as good in duels, I think his primary job is to win duels at the end of the day, because... Who would you know?
I don't think he's horrible. I think he's quite good in duels as well. He's just not as good as
Casemiro and Rice.
But again, with Rice, like, he played for West Ham, with all due respect.
But then that's even more responsibility for him to get on the ball and try and do things. At Arsenal, he's not necessarily going to have to do that as much, because he's going to have other players who can do it.
Yeah, he's not going to have to intercept as much at Arsenal, probably, because we're going to have more of the ball than at West Ham. He is going to have to be better on the ball. So we'll see how that happens, how he goes with Arsenal. But I do think it's interesting that, there was talks of Lavia coming in to replace Partey. I mean, that was a bit ridiculous.
I think that would be a bad move. I do agree that would be a bad move.
Yeah. Long term, maybe that would have been good. But
he's another one. I don't know if he's a 6 or an 8. Or if he is a 6, then... I don't know. I think he's another one. Like, I don't want my DM to take too many touches.
Neither.
And sometimes I do think Partey Rice as well, might take a bit too many touches. Whereas Busquets, even though he's the best DM we've seen on the ball in the world, how many times did he take more than 2-3 touches? Really?
Yeah. Rodri as well.
Yeah, Rodri as well. So I think there's that level where I don't want my DM to take too many touches. So that's something that you can put in that bracket as well. So it's an interesting debate. I think it depends on the team by team basis. For instance, I think if all three of them, if you offered them to any team in the world, they'd probably take them. All four of them, in fact, if you offered them to any team, just because they're that good at what they actually do.
Yeah.
The other cogs of the machine can be shifted around to make these guys fit the system. So
yeah, no, that is true. They're all top players. I'm not saying neither of them are shit players, but I've got my preferences to certain players. You can say it's bias. I don't think so, but we'll move on anyway to number 7, our first playmaker on this list. I don't think you're going to be happy about this because you didn't have him on the list, which I think is a bit mad, to be fair, that you didn't have this guy on the list. Coming off the back of his best season to date, he was once in danger of probably becoming a failed wonder kid, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen now. Martin Odegaard, the Arsenal captain, at number 7. His 15 goals last season was the most for a midfielder in open play in any season in Premier League history, joined with Fabregas. And he created the most chances for Arsenal last season. I think he's now becoming that player we thought he would when he was 15, joined Real Madrid. Maybe that was just too soon for him. I had him in my top 10 at 9. Louie, not in your top 10 at all.
No, he's probably 11th or 12th.
Okay.
I think he's great. He's a great player, but I just think Bruno Fernandes is better. And I think there's another number 10, obviously, who's better as well. Plays for Man City. But I think it's the people who chose him in the top 10. Not saying you're going to have him, you're an Arsenal fan, I get that. But I think the non-Arsenal fans who had him, especially people who had him over Bruno, it's recency bias and it's perceptions of players on social media rather than what they're seeing with their own eyes. Because I think when you play for Manchester United and Manchester United, you'd think the way the reaction is that they lose every week. But truth be told, last season they won most of the games they played. But it's just when they did lose, everyone makes out like it's the worst thing ever because it's Manchester United.
Yeah.
And then Bruno's one of them characters who... He's one of them characters who divides opinions. So you either hate him or you love him. And it doesn't matter how good he is. If you hate him, you're not going to rate him. Which I think is dumb. Whereas Odegaard, because the streets love him more and the casuals love him more as well, because I think people who genuinely... I understand having Odegaard above Bruno, but if you have Odegaard in your top 10 and not Bruno, I think it's crazy, bro, personally.
Bro, number 10's a luxury position. I'd love to fit more in the top 10.
I don't think Bruno's a number 10, though. I think he's like a hybrid.
Okay, yeah. All right, playmaker.
I don't think Odegaard's that much of a 10 either.
So he's a 10.
Okay, he is a 10, but more of a 10 than Bruno.
Yeah,
I would say.
Potentially, yeah.
Because I see Bruno, especially last year, he was dropping between the centre-backs a lot.
But you know what? You say recency bias. I think Odegaard's been better than him the season before as well, if I'm being fair.
Nah.
The season that United had Rangnick and you had Solskjaer as well, I think Odegaard was better than him that season. So I'm having that 2 seasons.
Still most chances created in the league.
Look, in terms of if you want a player to put in a sixpence, I'd probably rather Bruno, but influence on the game, I think Odegaard all day, to be honest.
I see Odegaard go missing a lot.
I don't know, man. Like,
you said it yourself last season as well, and I think
last season it changed. I said it the season before, but last season, Newcastle away, Spurs away. In some of our big games, he was good. Yes, some of our big games.
United away, he was horrible.
Yeah, he wasn't good. He wasn't
horrible.
good United away. But
City as well.
Yeah, City games.
He was horrible. I think he goes missing a lot, which is easy to do as a number 10. But that's the thing with Bruno. He never goes missing. Even if he's shit, he don't go missing. He will put himself about. He'll rustle feathers. He'll wind the opposition players up. He's always involved in the game. Whereas
Bruno had that many great big game performances in his whole United career. I don't know if you can count more than 5 in terms of against the big 6 opposition. I'm actually not sure.
Yeah, I think he was good against Arsenal at Old Trafford last year. I think he was good against Liverpool at Old Trafford. I think last season was weird because United were really poor away but really good at home. So I think that's the whole team. I think even Rashford, there was games where he was crap. Even Casemiro as well. There was games away where he was crap and there was games at home where he was good. But yeah, I hear the point about that. But has there been that many games where United have been good against the big 6 teams over the past 2.5-3 years?
Well, that's where your captain's got to step up. And
he wasn't captain though.
Last season he was.
Last season he was captain, and last season he was that for me. Even stats wise, it wasn't the best season he's had. But for me,
I agree. That was his best season.
For me, last season was his best season. I think he was better than Odegaard last season, personally. I think
Odegaard was literally.
Odegaard was great.
He was touted as third, second player of the year last season. I didn't hear much.
See, I disagree with that.
I didn't hear any talk of Bruno getting anywhere near that.
I disagree with that.
Yeah,
I disagree with that.
Know, man.
I'd argue he wasn't even top 3 Arsenal players.
Top 3 are come on, man. Odegaard at some points last season. Saka, yeah.
Saliba.
No.
You don't think so?
Saliba's an interesting one. I love Saliba and that, but his injury helped the perception of him because.
No, I disagree. I think he's great.
But Saliba's great, yeah, but we were leaking goals with him as well.
I know you were, but I know it's a hypothetical question. Doesn't really mean much. But if you would have lost Odegaard at that point, you lost Saliba.
Yeah.
I don't think you would have crumbled as much as you did.
It's tough because then Fabio Vieira comes in for Odegaard.
Or Trossard probably would have came in.
Yeah, Trossard maybe. But I don't know if there's a player that can replicate Odegaard's dynamics for Arsenal when he's on it.
Odegaard's great, and I think people like him because he's great to watch as well. When he's on it, he's great to watch. Whereas Bruno's probably not as great to watch. But in terms of if I've got a forward line, and I think as well, if you ask most strikers, most wingers, who would you rather play with, they're probably saying Bruno Fernandes, just because his ability to, at any situation, play a through ball or arrive late in the box, score a goal. He's got everything you need, really. I do think Odegaard last season was exceptional. But I just think Bruno has that little bit more and does that little bit more. And I think you've got to judge it as well. Arsenal scored, 30, 40 goals more than United?
Yeah, we scored 88 goals.
And United scored 57.
Yeah.
So, realistically, most of the season, Bruno was assisting one player. Martial was injured, he had to assist Weghorst. Yeah. Anthony got, 4 goals?
Yeah.
He had to assist one player.
Yeah.
Odegaard had 4, 5 players. Even Xhaka chipped in 7, 8 goals.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Casemiro was United's 3rd top goal scorer in the league last year.
Yeah.
So, I think since he's been at United, he's not really had a proper strike. He had Ronaldo, but it was different. It wasn't the form of Ronaldo that we know and love. It was a different form of Ronaldo. He's had Weghorst, who just not even go there. And then he's had an injured Martial and an out of form and an in-form Rashford. So I think it's difficult for him. Whereas I think Odegaard, when he wasn't playing with Jesus, he wasn't as good assisting Lacazette and Alba. So I think you've got to judge it on that as well. And I think Bruno probably gets more assists than what Odegaard got last year if he played for Arsenal last year. But then your play probably overall is worse.
I agree. That's the trade-off. Yeah, Bruno will always be more efficient than Odegaard. Like, he's a chance-creating machine. I can't deny that. But yeah, I think just Odegaard pops up everywhere, man, and he's instrumental in terms of us keeping the ball and even his defensive work as well.
That's got a lot better. I will give him that. There was a time, even the season under Rangnick, where I remember when United beat Arsenal at Old Trafford and he gave away that penalty. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And I just thought this guy's really poor defensively.
Yeah, same.
But that's improved a lot, and I think that's down to Arteta's coaching as well. But yeah, and I mean, Bruno's done things like that before, where he's given away a penalty. Yeah. I think I can't remember a game where he pushed someone over in the box and a penalty got given. So that's attacking midfielders defending, I guess.
Have that little foul in them.
Yeah, it's but that has improved a lot. And to be honest, we do this a lot in football. We argue over small things when really it comes down to preference, because on a grand scheme of things, both of them are brilliant.
Yeah,
it just depends on what that specific team needs. Yeah. So, for instance, I think if Odegaard comes into United, he's not as good as what Bruno is. Whereas I think if Bruno goes into Arsenal, he's not as good as what Odegaard does.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I couldn't imagine either player in each respective team, to be honest.
And neither could I.
Yeah, number 7, Odegaard. And number 6, the youngest player in this whole top 10. The star boy of Arsenal, the star boy of England, arguably as well. Straight from Hell End, Bukayo Saka, the highest rated Arsenal player in this list, despite coming second. He's Arsenal's main man for you.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Clearly.
Probably England's second behind Kane, or up there.
He's up there.
Yeah.
He's up there. Yeah, he probably attackers. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's another one, man. It's like numbers wise, sometimes you look at his numbers were good last year, but you look at his numbers and you think when you compare it to Rashford's numbers, for instance, or you compare it to Salah's numbers, it's not as good. But in terms of a player who steps up, dribbles, links play, draws fouls, is the whole package as well as getting goals and assists. Saka's there, and you know, sometimes even for England, and like sometimes he won't score, but like just the way he gets the ball and he'll beat a man. Like he gave Hernandes in that France game a torrid time, man. Yeah. And I think he was England's best player that day. And he got taken off, which Southgate, I don't know what he was doing there. He was tired, but bro, you've like, who cares if you're giving him a rest if he's not going to play the next game anyway because you're going out. Yeah. So yeah, I think for me he's Arsenal's main man. Again, there's an argument to be had between him and Rashford, which has been going around. For me, it's Saka. But then a lot of people will say Rashford, and it's probably probably the same argument. Rashford's more efficient.
That. Honestly, that one I hear it. If you say Rashford, I hear it because his difference making is phenomenal when he's on his day. But yeah, Saka all round game. No, 100% he's better than Rashford.
Yeah, he's like, so good, man.
Yeah, I can't believe how good he is. To be honest, it keeps getting better and better. We saw him with that goal against North Macedonia, the hat trick. I mean, that's probably one of the best.
Forgot about that, man.
Yeah, one of the best hat tricks I've seen in a while. You had an interesting take on Saka and the contract. You say you still agree that Saka maybe should have held off?
What, on the Arsenal contract?
On the Arsenal contract, because you reckon... Okay.
I do, because I think that's Real Madrid coming. Yeah. Or I think Man City as well. Yeah, I think City... Gone. Yeah, I think if Saka doesn't sign that contract, Man City coming for him and his career in terms of being an all-timer... Yeah. I think he can win a Premier League title with Arsenal, but I think in terms of being an all-timer Premier League great, I think he can achieve that at Man City. Yeah. And he can, in being an all-time great outside of the Premier League, he can achieve that at Real Madrid. So, but look, man, I respect a player who respects where they came from. So to him, one title at Arsenal probably means more than 5 at Man City, which is fair enough, bro. For me, if I had a choice between winning 1 title at Luton or winning 10 with Man City, I'm picking 1 with Luton. So, I get it, but I think in terms of if he's thinking for his career, then he probably should have held out. That's me saying that not as an Arsenal fan. If it were you and you had the choice between, you're an Arsenal fan, you had the choice between winning 1 league title with Arsenal and 5 with Man City, you're picking 1 with Arsenal, right?
Yeah, of course.
Exactly. So
my team,
so I get it. And there's not a lot of loyalty left in football, but yeah, if I'm his agent, I'm pissed.
Yeah, I think if it was the Arsenal that was like, you know, the season before last, finishing 5th, you're fighting for 4th, I actually agree with you. Say, yeah, man, go. I just worry you go to Man City, you become like how Grealish has become there, which is good, but is Grealish going to be? He could be remembered as a Man City legend.
What about Raheem Sterling?
Yeah, fair enough. Sterling, absolutely.
Because he could have stayed at Liverpool and won 1 or 2 titles.
Yeah, he could have. It's true. Sterling made the right move. Yeah, that's a good example. So, Saka, I don't know.
Pep's coaching as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting this season because if we're not up there again, I think your point would be very valid. But the vibes are high at Arsenal right now. So
yeah, it's not that I think he's wrong for signing the contract. I'm just saying, if it were me personally talking from a non-Arsenal fan perspective, and I'm him, I'm holding off that contract, and then I'm waiting for Madrid to call. Yeah. Or I'm waiting for Man City to call, and then I'm going there.
Yeah, that's fair. Saka at number 6, 14 goals, 11 assists last season. Great season. At number 5, the final DM of this list, Rodri.
Fairs, man.
He won the Casemiro party and Rodri debate, you think?
It was never really a debate in terms of the whole career. It's a debate, but in terms of right now, it's not. It's not. Unless you're a hardline Man United fan.
Yeah, I agree. Rodri is he's annoying, man. He's just good, man. Like,
what was the question you were going to ask?
Yeah, I was going to ask. Is he in for an outside shout of Balon d'Or? Because he's obviously won the treble and he won the Nations League with Spain.
Don't feel right.
Don't feel. But we've seen Jorginho and Modric have great Balon d'Or campaigns.
Jorginho wasn't competing with Haaland, who had won a treble and broken Premier League records, and Messi, who was had probably the best World Cup campaign ever and won that World Cup. I think if Rodri was competing with the same players that Jorginho was competing with a couple of years, he's probably the same. But I think now, I don't think Jorginho gets top 10 based on the season he had for Chelsea. And the season he had for Chelsea that year, if it was now, I don't think he gets top 10. Yeah. But the competition this year, Haaland, I mean, even Mbappe, the season he had, like won the double, was amazing in the World Cup Golden Ball. But I think, I don't think he's got a chance, even a 1% chance with Messi and Haaland.
Yeah.
The World Cup Messi had in the season Haaland had.
No, I agree. Rodri,
and that's another debate as well between them two.
It is. It is another debate. Maybe we have that debate actually. But Rodri, I could hear him top 5 actually.
I can hear top 5,
but not top 2.
Who would be your top 5 if you were going to go 1 to 5 now?
1 to 5 now. 1, I'd have Haaland. 2, I'd have. Guess I have Messi in there. Yeah, I guess Messi got me.
Man said guess.
Yeah, I guess he can go in there. World Cup means something, so I guess he got to go there.
World Cup means everything.
Yeah, then the league campaign means nothing as well. But yeah, Messi can go too.
Most assists in the league campaign, won a double.
Bro, when's anyone ever cared about that though? In League 1?
He's won the double, isn't it?
The double in League 1, I've never heard of that.
But then if he didn't win the double, people would say, well, he didn't win the double.
Yeah, bro. And he's a victim of his own success, isn't it?
Yeah, he is. And he won 3 trophies. Including the big one, which every player...
Fairs.
If you ask any player what they would want to win, everyone's saying the World Cup.
Yeah, he won World Cup fair. So, alright, I'd have him. I'd have him 2. Mbappe, I'd have 3rd. De Bruyne 4th, and then Rodri 5th. I don't think I'd have Vinicius over those guys.
No, I think I'm having Messi 1.
Yeah.
But listen, man, I can hear Haaland. Of course, I can hear Haaland.
Bro,
and
Haaland,
if Messi didn't win the World Cup, then Haaland's like 100% winning it. But the thing with the Messi stuff is, because it's Messi, the people who think Ronaldo's the GOAT is going to say, oh, he's only got it because he won the World Cup. But when other people have won the Balon d'Or based on the World Cup, no one said it was just the World Cup. When Ronaldo when R9 won the Balon d'Or based on the World Cup, no one said, oh, it's just the World Cup. Everyone said, yeah, he deserved it. He won the World Cup.
If I could talk by then, I would have.
I don't think you would have, because back then the social media era was like, bro, the World Cup was the World Cup.
But did you have anyone like Haaland that year? I don't think you did. Like, this Haaland year is up there with Messi.
Okay, even when Cannavaro won it over Henry, controversial.
Cannavaro shouldn't have won it over Henry.
He shouldn't have. But did anyone say Cannavaro didn't deserve to win it?
I think if you ask people now, I think people would say, what's Cannavaro doing there?
But then he won the World Cup, innit? So it's like, he won the World Cup, he deserves it.
Yeah, he was their best player and won the World Cup. But what about, let's say, 2010, Xavi or Iniesta? Didn't win it. 2014.
Maybe Iniesta should have won it that year.
Yeah, didn't win it. 2014, Neuer, Thomas Müller, maybe. Neither of them even close.
Neuer deserved it. I think Neuer, if he wasn't,
but he didn't though. Really, like, he didn't. He weren't best player that year.
He revolutionised that position.
Yeah, that's cool.
And he's a goal.
Makelele revolutionised the DM position.
I hear what you're saying. And forwards are always going to be favoured in the Balon d'Or. They're the ones who bring in the most traction to the game. So yeah, I hear it. But yeah, I think Messi, and he's Messi as well. Like, Messi winning the World Cup. That's probably the greatest story we've had in football.
Or better than Jamie Vardy and Leicester. I don't know, man.
It's not comparable though, I don't think.
Nah, Vardy's story's better, bro. Come on, man.
Well, the Leicester story in general, yeah. But in terms of
look, it's a great story.
In terms of
it was great.
In terms of destiny, there's no greater ending to a story of the greatest with that. So for me, Haaland can have it next year, bro. I'm having Messi this year. I'm having Haaland second. Do you know what? Give Haaland a silver Balon d'Or.
That's a joke.
Give Haaland a silver Balon d'Or, and then I'm having Mbappe third. Give him a bronze one if you want, and then fourth.
Kind of gets hard after that.
Yeah, De Bruyne, but the final was. I know he got injured. It's not really his fault, but I don't feel.
I know. I didn't feel. I love De Bruyne, but I didn't feel.
Fourth, Gundogan.
Oh yeah, Gundogan.
Gundogan fourth.
Gundogan 4th is actually a fair shout.
Kevin De Bruyne 5th. Rodri
Damn.
6th.
You know, if Gundogan was still playing in the Premier League, where would you have him in this list?
3rd.
3rd. That's fair. Because they weren't a midfielder better than him.
3rd or 4th.
Yeah.
Or 5th, maybe. Because I'm
Would he be ahead of Rodri?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I'm deep in the other 4 players who I've got 1st to 4th.
Yeah. What about Salah? Would Gundogan be ahead of him?
See, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Tough one, man.
I personally would.
Yeah, and I can hear that.
Yeah, I personally would have Gundogan over Salah. But it's Salah in it, so I can understand him. I can understand him being second for people.
Yeah.
It wasn't for me personally, but I can understand him being second for people. I mean, for a Liverpool fan, I can understand him being first, to be completely honest.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone would. I think Haaland's far and away for me. But yeah, I think I'd have him 4th. 4th or 5th. Yeah, 4th or 5th, because I'm deep in the people we've got from 1 to 5.
Yeah, competing with them is tough. They've been doing it for seasons and seasons. Not saying Gundogan hasn't, but his standout seasons have only just come recently.
Yeah, and there's one controversial one, because the viewers aren't stupid. There's one controversial one. He hasn't won a trophy, but in terms of the player who he is, he's probably
has
top.
To be there.
Yeah, it has to be there, doesn't he?
It has to be there. You can't be saying guys like Diaz are better than him, man.
You can't be saying guys like Rodri are better than him either.
Yeah.
And even, like, to be honest, no disrespect, even Gundogan, you can't be saying.
Yeah,
you can't.
Like, he's a different level of player.
Yeah.
And we will get to him, but not quite yet. Number 4 is Mo Salah. Apparently he didn't have a great season last season, but still got 19 goals, 12 assists.
He's a freak.
Yeah, he's ridiculous, man. Became Liverpool's all-time Premier League top scorer last season.
Crazy, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he has 186 goals and 74 assists for Liverpool in total. He's not even been there that long, to be honest. Is Salah in the conversation for Liverpool's greatest ever player?
Yeah. Yeah, he is. I mean, I can understand Gerrard simply because of Istanbul. And because when Liverpool were really poor, Gerrard was the one who dragged them into the Champions League, dragged them to trophies. Not the one thing that he would have wanted to win the Premier League.
Yeah.
But he dragged them to trophies. But I think Salah's a different level in terms of the goals that he's provided. And then, but Steven Gerrard, he is Liverpool, isn't he? When you think of maybe not for the younger generation, but for people mine and your age, and the cameraman as well, he's going to think Gerrard when he thinks of Liverpool, 100%. So yeah, maybe for people sort of 5-6 years younger than us, they think of Salah. Yeah, but for us, we're thinking Gerrard, I think.
Yeah, in my lifetime, probably him, Gerrard, and I know I was young, but Michael Owen, that would have to be a top 3 Liverpool players. No, Suarez actually.
Suarez, but he didn't.
Suarez went there.
Didn't win anything.
Yeah, he didn't win anything.
Fernando Torres as well.
Torres, I think the other's clearer. Maybe he's in there with Torres. Owen, maybe Owen and Torres is a debatable one. Yeah, but do I think he's Liverpool's greatest ever player? I don't quite. Truthfully, I don't. I would love to. I love a controversial opinion, but he doesn't feel better than Gerrard to me.
Is he the greatest Premier League right winger of all time?
Right wings, you got Beckham. He's better than Beckham.
Ronaldo, perhaps.
Ronaldo. Have to say he's better than Ronaldo now.
You think?
Ooh, overall, but in terms of peaks,
Ronaldo won Balon d'Or.
Ronaldo's 08 season was the best,
craziest Premier League season I've seen from a player, bro.
Yeah, like obviously I have Henry seasons up there, but seasons I can probably remember. Yeah, Ronaldo's.
For the viewers who are perhaps a little bit younger than us, I mean, we were young at the time ourselves, but the people I'm saying would associate Salah with Liverpool. When the Ronaldo you know now, the efficient Ronaldo, imagine a little bit less efficiency, but way more flair, way more trickery, way more dribbling. Just imagine like Ronaldinho. Imagine like Messi mixed with Ronaldo. Yeah. That was what Ronaldo was like in that 08 season. As a young man as well. He was younger than us at the time.
Yeah, bro. He was.
He was younger than us at the time.
Flipping hell, yeah, he was.
So, bro, like
that season was crazy.
I'm sure people have, but if you haven't and you get a chance and you've not watched Ronaldo at United, go back and watch it. It's like he was like Neymar mixed with Ronaldo.
Yeah.
In terms of just so fun to watch.
That unbelievable. 31 goals, I think, in 33 or 4 games. Like, he was like, that was before Messi obviously got to where he is now, but he was seen as clear the best player in the world.
Banging screamers every week as well, bro. Man could score free kicks back then as well.
Yeah, the one against Portsmouth.
Getting mad assists as well.
Yeah, everything he was doing was just...
Yeah, he was in terms of the Premier League, I think he's the best. That's the best individual season I've seen from a Premier League player.
Yeah, and it might be period.
Yeah, period. Yeah, well...
It might be period.
Premier League period, yeah. Not
overall.
Yeah, because I think Messi's one season's got that.
Messi's got better seasons.
Yeah, but that Premier League, see, for him, bro, he was so... Man were going into school and saying, like, this is when we were 8-9 years old, being like, bro, did you see that Ronaldo performance? And he was ridiculous, bro.
Like, he even had them boots as well. Yeah, the Night Mercurials. Man. Like, he was iconic, man.
Man were dyeing their hair a little bit of blonde, a little bit of black, bro.
Literally, man. He was, you haven't seen many of them in the Prem. Henry was an icon. Cristiano, and I think Haaland's on his way to becoming that. But, like, that's just...
I think Rooney on that level as well, because when, like, I was saying this story to my barber earlier. When I went Thailand and I got a trim from the guy in Thailand, I was wearing an England top. And the guy kept saying to me, Wayne Rooney, Beckham. And I'm just thinking, bro, Rooney's been retired for a bit, and this random guy cutting my hair in Thailand.
Yeah, Rooney's a name.
He's an icon as well. And he had the street striker stuff.
Yeah. That actually, I was thinking of that earlier, actually, the Rooney.
That was cold, that street striker.
Yeah,
it was
Rooney,
cold.
Yeah, street striker, that was a sick show, man.
But you're right, we haven't had Ronaldo, Henry, Rooney, and then Beckham after he left.
Icon status.
And then Haaland. And probably Salah as well, because...
Yeah.
Because he's Arab, and that's a very big market in terms of football. So he's got that marketability with where he's from.
He's by far and away the most followed footballer on Instagram. In Premier League, he's got like 70, I think close to 70 mil followers.
Yeah. So. Outside of the big two, and Neymar, he's probably the most followed.
Yeah, it has Neymar and Mbappe as well.
And Mbappe as well, yeah.
Probably, yeah. But Salah number 4, I think that's fair. I think last season you could have maybe had him 2 or 1 when he was scoring them goals against Man City, scoring them goals against Watford. And actually, that's reminded me of a chat we had in the group chat earlier on this week. Little segue, diversion. We've lost a few entertainers.
The streets will never forget these, man.
Man, say Mbappe. Saint Maximin. Firmino
and Mahrez,
the Premier League's entertainers, all gone. You wouldn't have Salah as an entertainer.
Depends what entertains you.
I don't think I would. I like Salah.
Yeah, it depends what entertains you. And I think, for instance, our boy Ryan, he has Salah as an entertainer, but then he probably has Ronaldo over Messi. So for me, in my mind, I make the link between he finds pure efficiency more entertaining than what I would call the art of football, in terms of when you watch Firmino, the little deft touches, the little flicks, the little not even touching the ball, just spinning and letting the ball go through him and stuff like that. Obviously, St. Maximin with his dribbling, and then for me with Mahrez, like if you can take 3 men out of a game with your first touch, you're an entertainer. I don't think Salah's got that in his locker in terms of pure goal scoring. And he's done some great dribbles, but it's nothing I haven't seen before. Yeah, exactly. Whereas with Firmino, he's done things where, as a striker in the Premier League, I mean, he had the league playing with no strikers for 2-3 years. That was him who did that. I know Pep was the first to do it with Messi, but in the Premier League, no one's played a league without a recognised striker before. Yeah, Klopp did that, and then Pep followed suit. And these guys are always matching each other. Realistically, we go on how great their tactics are. They are, but a lot of them just copy each other. Yeah. Realistically, because Pep signed Haaland, and then Klopp went and signed Nunez, and now United are getting Højlund. So there was the false 9 era that happened for 2 years. Firmino caused that. Yeah. For me, that's a great entertainer, bro. Yeah, 100%. I mean, Firmino, when he got the ball, you didn't necessarily know what he was going to do, to be honest. He didn't. Some great assists. I remember one he did against Newcastle where he did a roulette to Salah, unbelievable. In particular seasons where I think their first Champions League run season,
Firmino was unbelievable, to be honest. And he's probably the best Brazilian to have played in the Premier League, I think.
I think for me, an entertainer is someone who does things out of their intuition rather than like Salah, that goal against Watford. It was he got the ball and he was dribbling, but it was almost choreographed. Whereas with Firmino, it was so off the cuff.
Yeah.
And with Mahrez, some of the stuff he did, especially at Leicester, so off the cuff.
Yeah.
So Maximin, just in the way that he was, so off the cuff. Whereas I think with Salah, it's a lot more choreographed, a lot more like what Ian Robben was doing, where he was scoring dribble, and you couldn't get the ball off him, getting onto the left foot. Yeah. I guess Messi in a way is like that, but I think Messi has the package where like you don't even realise he's touched the ball and he's took it around 4 man. Yeah. Whereas with Salah, you can see it. And with Messi, he's got that little drop of the shoulder where he doesn't have to touch. I don't think Salah has that. I think Salah, in terms of dribbling at people, great. But the little bits of intuition that you use that it seems like only Brazilians have, but obviously other people have it as well.
Yeah.
Arab footballers have it a lot.
Yeah.
They do. Tarapt, Mahrez, Boufal as well. Ben Arfa.
If you want to count Zidane.
Yeah, you want to count Zidane, yeah. So I think they've got that intuition, whereas I think, Salah's a bit more choreographed. Robben's a bit more choreographed. So
I agree. We're definitely running out of them in football.
It's sad, man.
Yeah, it is.
That's why I like Anthony, man. He's fun.
Anthony, an entertainer, bro.
He's an agent of chaos.
Like, none of his skills come off, man.
Sometimes they do.
Bro, he's entertaining, bro. He's comedy.
He's fun. He's fun.
He is. He's
fun.
But his conversion rate for his skills is poor.
But at least he's trying it, man.
Yeah, true.
I'd rather watch him try that shit.
Yeah.
Than watch.
I don't know. Harvey Barnes.
Yeah, Harvey Barnes. Perfect example. Harvey Barnes running like a truck through man. Yeah. Great, it works. But I'd rather watch Anthony do a spin into someone because it's fun, bro. And that's why I fell in love with football. I didn't fall in love with football watching people cutting on their right foot and banging the ball. I fell in love with football watching Ronaldinho flick the ball up and put it on his head. Like that's what made me fall in love with football. Maybe the new era is different. Maybe they like watching efficiency. Maybe they like watching stats and stuff like that. For me, the beauty of football, the reason why it's the greatest sport in the world is because, bro, anyone can get a tin can and start doing some elasticos with their mates on the pitch.
Yeah.
Whereas with like basketball, with cricket, you know, with basketball it's get it in the hoop. Yeah. With cricket it's hit the ball to the boundary. Yeah. There are things in those sports that are beautiful as well, but with football it's like the beauty of it is the best part about the game, not the highest level efficiency, in my opinion.
Nah, I agree with that as well. There's so many varieties of goals you can score in football, so many varieties of tactics. I mean, that's a bit naive. Like, I don't want to disregard other sports tactics, but
of course,
I can't imagine the tactical side of rugby being as dense as the tactical side of football. But who knows, man? It's like chess in real life, and then you've got entertainers like Dino's and
we all love the Mavericks, man.
Yeah, we do. I mean, would you say Grealish was one at Aston Villa?
No.
Nah, he was
great dribbler.
Great dribbler.
And I think the idea of him was because of the way he looked and because he was very cocky. The idea of him being this type of player held more weight than him being that type of player.
Nah, I think.
And people love his personality, which worked in his favour in that respect. And
he was shining in a small team, which is we always love to see as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get back onto the top 10. Salah at number 4. At number 3, Harry Kane, third place. Interestingly, with him last season, he scored in the most games out of any player. He scored 26, which is actually a Premier League record. He scored in more games than Haaland did.
I feel bad for this guy at this point.
Yeah, same. Became Spurs all-time top scorer. He's on 280 goals at the moment.
Who cares?
Who cares? England's all-time top scorer, 58 goals. Guess we kind of care.
Crazy, of course, crazy.
Yeah. No trophies, but he's got to be. He's got to be number 3. He's got the intangibles. He's different.
He does, and the things you say there. Now he kind of has to go buy him for a cup. If he can go there, maybe you wait a year and you've got like a City might come. I don't think they will, but United might come in. You might have Bayern again. You might have Barcelona. You might have Real Madrid. Real Madrid might be waiting for that.
Real Madrid that's the transfer, man.
They might be waiting because they got
They should
Joselu,
sign. Oh yeah, they got Joselu.
and they want to get Mbappe. So maybe they're waiting for Kane and Mbappe both to be free agents,
Yeah.
and then they're putting them in there next year, and then you can kind of play Kane a bit deeper and have him feeding them too, and as well as making the late runs into the box. So maybe he waits and goes for Real Madrid, but at least with Bayern Munich, you're guaranteed to break the stigma that stupid people have about you, where you can't be a good player if you haven't won a trophy.
Yeah.
Which on a baseline level I agree with, but when you've got someone who has done as much as Harry Kane, I think it's a silly argument. I do think there is a point where he has to win a trophy, but I don't think that makes him a bad player.
Yeah.
That he hasn't.
Yeah, no, I agree.
What's your take on that?
Came to Bayern Munich. I don't think it does much, to be honest. He goes Bayern Munich and wins a couple Bundesligas.
You don't feel it in your heart.
I don't think he does either, to be honest. And I'm worried his performances will actually drop if he goes Bayern Munich. He's proper, he's a proper English guy. He's very...
Can you imagine him speaking German?
Nah, exactly. You can't really imagine him doing that. I might be wrong, though. But
I'm sure he's a very smart man. I'm sure he could learn.
Yeah, I just think if you move into... this is his big move in a way. And I think it's the same as if you went to PSG.
I would have gone there if I were him.
You would have gone PSG?
Or Bayern.
Yeah. It's a tough one because he's obviously got the street saying, where's the trophies? But he goes by and gets a couple trophies.
Yeah.
No one will care.
It's true. And then there is the argument next year of there's going to be every club in the world in for him other than probably Man City.
Yeah, it's a weird one, because it feels like every season, since the season he did the talk with Gary Neville, it's like, this is the year Kane's going to go. This is the year he's going to go. And he doesn't... even this summer, I can see him not going.
Are we in agreement that even when his contract runs out, he shouldn't stay at Spurs?
Nah, he shouldn't stay at
Okay.
Spurs. He's got to go to... The prime move is Man United.
Do you think?
Even though Man United isn't it's not the guarantee of a City. I just feel like...
I think they win the league if Kane goes there.
I think they've got a great chance. I think he suits United a lot. City was also a great move for Kane. If he went to City a couple seasons ago, then we're laughing.
Because then you kill the two birds with the one stone. You're going to break that record and you're going to get the Premier League title.
Bayern Munich, honestly, it's I don't know if it's that much different than going to Saudi.
If he wins the Champions League with Bayern Munich,
yeah, but...
And as I've said before, Bayern Munich are one of them teams where they're only ever 1 or 2 years away from winning the Champions League.
But look at German football at the moment. I don't want to generalise, but it's not in the sport it was when you had your Neuers and Müllers coming through.
I don't think any league is, other than the Prem.
Prem, yeah, exactly. So it's like, you got to stay... And Real Madrid will always be up and amongst it.
I think
those are the moves, man.
I think it's tough. He's got a decision to make. And I think I'd probably go to Bayern Munich just because... Like, I'm not Harry Kane, so I don't know, innit? And I'm not a professional footballer, so I don't know. But me personally, it's stupid for me to even say because I'm never going to be in that position. But me personally, I'm going there for 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Winning as much as I can. Taking in 3 Bundesligas, maybe a Champions League.
He'll be 33.
Come back to Spurs if you want.
Will he be at the same level?
Go back to Spurs if you want.
Yeah, and he's won a few trophies.
Yeah,
it's a fairly logical move.
Spurs will have him back even when he's 47.
Yeah, probably. I just think for a player like Kane, man, Bayern, weirdly enough, is just a bit of a meh move, man. Like, Kane should be going to the meccas of football.
Maybe
Bayern is because it's Bayern got a monopoly on Germany.
They do,
but right now,
and I
don't know if
there is a debate where Lewandowski, if Messi didn't exist, probably wins the Balon d'Or at Bayern as well. Yeah. I think Kane would actually score more goals than what Lewandowski did if he went to Bayern.
Potentially, even despite all Lewandowski's goals, he never won a Balon d'Or. And
in my eyes, he did, because the one that got cancelled in COVID, he should have won that.
Certain man going to suffer the same fate this year. Certain strikers.
Nah, because Haaland will get his chance.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, man. Came to Bayern. I don't mind it, but
I hear you. I don't feel it in my heart. but I feel it in my head.
It's the logical thing to do.
Yeah.
But I know Kane's a heart on his sleeve player. And I don't know if he can just go there and like if Mbappe went to Bayern, I think we'll say that's disappointing.
Yeah, of course.
If Haaland even went to Bayern after Dortmund, I think we're saying it's disappointing. So I don't really like Kane is on. Let's be real, he's on that level.
I agree, but if Haaland was 30 and hadn't won a Premier and hadn't won a title when he was going, I wouldn't say it. But and if Mbappe was 30 and hadn't won anything, then I'd say it. But these guys have won things already now, and Haaland was young when he made the move.
Yeah, that's fair.
Whereas if, for instance, I don't even know who to compare it to. Let's say let's say Saka gets to 28, 29, hasn't won a Premier League, and he decides to go to Bayern Munich. I'm not begrudging him for that.
Yeah, true. No, if you put it like that, okay, he should.
Yeah,
he should go. Because it is better than staying at Spurs.
It is, and you can go back to Spurs in 2-3 years.
He wants the record for, isn't it?
Yeah, but you can get that. I think
it's not a guarantee if he goes Bayern for 3 years.
I think it is, because I think he comes, and I think he's good enough to score 10 goals in the Premier League until he's 37. 5-6 of those will be penalties.
Yeah, true.
Realistically, I mean, remember that season Gerrard got like 12 goals and 8 of them were pens.
Yeah.
So Kane can do that, and I think he gets 10 goals outside of penalties even into his mid-30s. So if you add 5-6 penalties onto that, I think he can score 14, 15 goals in a season, even at 33, 34.
Nah, potentially, man.
And I mean, sorry to interrupt again, but we've seen Ibrahimovic come to the Premier League at 39, score 16, 17 goals. Even Ronaldo scored 16 in a poor United side at an older age. Eddie Cavani, that first season, got, 10, 11?
Yeah.
So older strikers can come. Strikers are different position. You can come and score 10, 15 goals in the Premier League if you play for a good team.
Nah, I do agree. I was just going to say on Kane, I saw an interesting debate on TikTok where his name was mentioned. And it was, what player has exceeded their expectations the most? Just like random players.
Probably him.
He's one of them, yeah. T. Garrett was the one who said him. Because,
what do you mean?
Yeah, it's true. Like I remember, I just remember having fantasy time ago. And I look at Tottenham, I look at strikers, and I see Kane there. And he was like 21. Like he wasn't proper young. I was like Dane Scarlett. He was on loan at Leicester. On loan at.
I actually remember this when he had that first good season, and I remember being in high school and. Man, mainly a couple Arsenal fans. I'm not going to name names, but a couple Arsenal fans were like, "Oh, he's a one season wonder." Yeah, and then even after a second season, he was a one season wonder as well. Yeah. So people never truly believed in him until we slapped him in the face. Yeah. So I think he's up there.
Yeah. Vardy as well. That's the other one.
Vardy's another one. Yeah. You're right. I think Ronaldo's up there.
CR7.
Yeah.
You reckon he's? Yeah.
Because when he first came to the Premier League, people expected him to be one of the best in the world, but they never expected him to. For instance, you compare him and Messi. If you look at it on paper, Messi should win 15 out of 15 Balon d'Ors against Ronaldo. So the fact Ronaldo has 5 in an era where he played with Messi, from where Ronaldo started. Yeah, I mean, Messi started at Barcelona. Ronaldo started at Sporting Lisbon, then went to Man United. He had to work very hard, and like we said, he was the best Premier League season ever. The season before that, he got 13, 14 goals.
Yeah, it's a player season as well. 2 player seasons.
Yeah, 2 player seasons, and then the season before the first player season, he had 9, 10 goals. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, don't quote me exactly, but I think he's up there.
You know what? Come to think of it, he is, because when Rooney signed for United, Rooney was definitely seen as the one who's gonna be. Like
the Balon d'Or winner.
Yeah. Not Ronaldo. For good reason as well. Rooney had the Euro 2004 tournament. I mean, Ronaldo was good those times as well. But, the hype was around Rooney. Yeah. I remember it when, England played Portugal World Cup 06. And then it was after that summer, the whole country hated Ronaldo. Yeah. He came best player in the world. It was a nut. All of a sudden, he's looking like a man now. He wasn't in those boot cuts anymore. He's
fashion changed bare quick actually.
Yeah, it was a proper boy to man thing with that period of Ronaldo. So I do agree. I wouldn't have thought Ronaldo would have been the best. And there's also
the famous Roy Keane interview. Yeah, on MUTV that lost Roy Keane's Man United career when he basically was criticising the club for letting Van Nistelrooy go and keeping Rooney and Ronaldo. It didn't. Technically, I haven't actually watched the full interview, but from reading Fergie's, never got shown. But from reading Fergie's book and from hearing stories, that was basically what it was. They let Van Nistelrooy go, and they were keeping Ronaldo as the main striker and other guys. And Keane criticised that. But even Keane now defends Ronaldo with his life.
Bro, the way everyone who's played for Ronaldo loves him is funny, bro. Like, they don't want to lose their cred with him.
Even Garnacho.
Yeah. I mean, like Gary Neville and that, for ages he didn't want to say. He could see it on TV. He didn't really want to say anything about it.
Until Neville had to.
Yeah, and then when he had to, Ronaldo came, made a flipping scene and didn't shake his hand.
Yeah.
Same with Carragher's and that. Keane was never really, even the hard man Roy Keane was never really on saying what he really felt.
And Ferdinand as well, who is like, he just says what comes to his brain normally.
Yeah, man.
Don't really think about it. Even he was like, nah, I can't criticise Ronaldo.
Honestly, I hear it. If I was in that position as well, I probably wouldn't either, to be honest, man.
Neither would I, bro.
I'm some any baller, a couple 100 Prem caps. Well, I can't talk to Ronaldo.
Yeah, I can't.
I actually can't, even though he's taking
Even though it's my job to.
Yeah.
I can't, I hear you.
But other players, Salah, I think, is one.
Yeah, Salah's definitely one.
I would have never had him as the level he is now when he was at Chelsea.
De Bruyne as well, probably.
De Bruyne, yeah. Defo, yeah. I mean, I'd even say Saka's on his way to becoming one.
Saka's definitely one.
Because, we had him not in the conversation with Sancho, Foden, and now he's top.
And I mean, it probably is going to take a Premier League win for him to do that. And same as Bruno Fernandes, he was in Portugal until he was 26. Went to Udinese, didn't work. Came to the Prem at a mature age for a footballer, 25, 26.
Yeah.
And then, he's now one of the best players in the league, one of Man United captain.
Yeah.
If you could have told him when he was 21 at Udinese he'd become Man United captain, I think he probably would have laughed. So there's a few, but I think, Kane, Salah, Vardy, and Ronaldo as well, I think, is one.
Yeah, I do agree with that. It's a proper interesting debate, actually. Maybe one day we do a draft of it, actually.
Yeah, maybe one day we'll do like a starting 11 of exceeded potential, and then maybe one of failed potential as well.
Yeah, definitely, because there's more of them.
There is.
But back to the top 10. At number 2, and this was so tight, I think there was like about 2 points in it in the end. Everyone had them pretty much 1 and 2, these players. 36 goals last season, the most in the Premier League season ever. 52 in all comps.
Second.
Yep, 4 hat-tricks last season. He's already got more hat-tricks than the likes of Drogba, Ronaldo, Vardy in the Premier League. First player in the Premier League to score 3 home games, 3 hat-tricks. Fastest player to 25 goals for Pep Guardiola in the Pep Guardiola team. Erling Braut Haaland, second best player in the Premier League.
Second,
yeah.
I'm sorry, bro.
I had him second.
Did you?
Yeah.
You had De Bruyne first?
Yeah, De Bruyne's the guy, man. I love Haaland, bro. Like, Haaland, it took me a minute, to be fair.
Same.
It took me a minute to catch on to Haaland. I'm a big Mbappe fan. I always disregard Haaland, but I do acknowledge now there is a bit of a conversation, you have to say. Yeah,
there is. I still think Mbappe's better, but I still
think Mbappe is better. But Haaland, it's hard, actually. His goals is too much. I just think the man above him is what makes him, to be honest.
I disagree. I think Haaland scores them goals for United. I think he scores them goals for Arsenal.
You think he scores 52?
For Man United?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. I think
Rashford scored 30.
Yeah. Different dynamics though. Right? Like Haaland at Dortmund.
They both thrive in behind.
Yeah. It's true. Haaland at Dortmund though was 30 odd goals. He would score pretty much every game he played in. But you've got him scoring 5 goals.
I think
at 50 minutes.
He scores
with De Bruyne behind him. He
scores at least 30 for any team in the Premier League, including Luton next year, including Sheffield United. He scores 30 goals for any team in the league because he is unstoppable in terms of he's fast, he's strong, he scores with his head, he can hit it with. Doesn't score that many with his right foot. but left foot, when he's in front of goal and he levers it, no keeper saves it. I think aerially, to his feet, makes a yard of space. For a man who's huge, like ginormous, he makes space for himself so quickly.
Yeah.
I think he's a freak in terms of what we've seen. The reason, I think, I hear the KDB thing, but for me, the reason Haaland is top is he's done something unprecedented that we've never seen before in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne, as amazing as he is, as consistent as he's been the last 5-6 years, we've seen people do what Kevin De Bruyne has done. Yeah. We've never seen anyone do what Haaland's done. Yeah. That record that Ronaldo set originally, we never thought anyone would break it, and Salah broke it, and then they were like, okay. Then he broke his own record.
He broke even Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer got 34 goals, but he had a 42-game season.
Yeah. And
so he's
then
outright top scorer.
Exactly. And then we thought no one's going to ever do that, even Haaland. And then he came and did that in his first season. He took the piss, bro. Didn't he do it by April?
He did it proper early. He should have got about 40 goals.
Yeah, he did it by February. I swear, something like that, or March.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's
a freak.
Yeah, 52 goals as well. That's the most all competitions as well. Like, ahead of Van Nistelrooy and Salah, I think they had 44.
This is how much Messi and Ronaldo have messed my mind up, because that 52, when I hear that number, doesn't seem that high, but that's insane.
It's true, actually. He could have scored more if you think about it.
He could have.
The back end of the season, I think City were on the beach a little bit.
Yeah, they were. They were focusing on the cup final and the Champions League final.
And then he didn't score in the either game against Real Madrid or the cup final. So
didn't he go like 6 games without scoring or something?
Yeah,
and everyone was like, he's washed.
He did go a lot. I think he's still on the run, to be fair. Like, he might still be on the run. Yeah,
he might be.
But I don't really have much of an argument, to be fair. I just think I prefer the guy at number 1.
Fairs, man, and that's if you prefer that guy, who am I to tell you that you're wrong in it?
Yeah, like, but I do also think because of the amount of time he's done it in the league as well.
Yeah, he's got money in the bank. I hear it.
Yeah, we'll go on to him. Number 1 then, Kevin De Bruyne. He's actually Man City's most decorated ever player now.
Crazy. So jarring, that guy, man.
Yeah, you hate him. United fans hate him. I don't really know why.
I don't hate him. He's just so jarring, bro.
Yeah, I hear it. He's like,
just look at him as well.
Yeah, his demeanor's a bit, I don't know. It's a bit strange.
Let me talk.
Yeah, that'll be forever ingrained in memories.
But then him and Haaland are the same. They're both jarring.
Yeah. Nah, I actually like Haaland.
I like Haaland as well.
I really like.
Jarring,
I like that Champions League interview with Henry. He was asking about his game afterwards.
Yeah,
he was bare serious. Like, nah, it's true. I need to improve. I need to back to goal. I need to improve.
No, this is true.
That was a funny one actually. Henry was where Grealish was like to him. What did he say? Oh, you were Carl Walker. He's like, me all day.
Yeah, all day.
I've missed that actually, that CBS show.
Yeah. I think as well, I love how Haaland don't really give a shit. Like, he just plays Minecraft and puts it on his Instagram story. Like, at heart, like, he's just a bloke from a normal bloke from Norway.
Yeah.
Probably has his boys who he went to school with. They never thought he'd be the player he is, and then
even though he had his dad, I don't think his dad was.
I didn't know who his dad was until he played.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though his dad had like 100 Premier League appearances, I didn't know who his dad was known for beefing Roy Keane.
Yeah, exactly. Nah, Haaland. Who, if he stays in, do you reckon he's going to be all-time Prem top goals?
No, because he'll go.
He'll go, yeah.
He'll go.
Where can he go though? He's at the best club in the world right now.
Yeah, but there becomes a point where if he wins a Champions League, then what's the point of him staying at City, really?
Yeah.
I know he grew up supporting them. Apparently, probably did because his dad.
Yeah.
But like, you win a Champions League at City, you win a treble at City.
Yeah.
You're probably going to win the Balon D'or at City. Just go Madrid, win the treble there, then you'll Messi Ronaldo level.
Yeah, it's true. But not this year for the Balon d'Or.
Nah. Next year.
I think he should win this year.
I hear it, but yeah, I mean, I guess Messi's had enough. 7. Don't think anyone's ever getting 7 again.
Yeah.
No one's
8 Ballon d'Ors. Oh my days. He's gonna have 8 because if he wins this year.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. I don't think anyone's getting 5 again.
Yeah. I think
If Ronaldo wasn't around, Messi would have 13 Balon d'Ors.
13, bro.
That's insane.
At least 10, yeah.
Yeah, he'd have at least 10.
Because I think 2018 he wasn't in the list.
Yeah, he'd have at least 10.
Yeah.
Because, 1 year, obviously. And, I mean, there's an argument to be had about Modric's Balon d'Or as well.
Yeah,
so maybe he
dubious Balon d'Or.
Yeah, so maybe had the things gone a little bit different for Messi.
Yeah.
Maybe even in 2014 had he won the World Cup.
Yeah, he would have got Balon d'Or that year.
Yeah.
True, there's a it could have been.
He could have ended up winning like 16.
Like, we would have had to do something about him, man.
We'd have had to have killed
force
him
him
off.
to retire or something like that.
We'd have had to have chopped his left leg off and made him use his right.
Literally, man. But back to the top 10. Number 1 on the list, Kevin De Bruyne. I want to ask. Now, all-time Premier League players.
Okay.
It's Kevin De Bruyne top 5, 3. I have Henry at 1 and probably have Cristiano at 2. I think I might have De Bruyne third.
Over Rooney?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I think I got De Bruyne over Rooney because I've got a thing with Rooney where I don't feel like he was the main man of United for enough of his years, to be honest.
He was the consistent man at United.
Kind of like Ryan Giggs, in my opinion.
No, Rooney was, numbers-wise, levels to Giggs.
Yeah, but Rooney was a striker, though.
Wasn't Rooney like the only player to get 10 goals and 10 assists for so long?
Possibly. But he wasn't really winning. He wasn't in that many Player of the Year award lists. He wasn't really up there from season to season. I have 2010 and 2012 as his standout years. Every other year I have him as a subsidiary sort of player to Ronaldo or Van Nistelrooy or Rooney. Whereas De Bruyne, that's Man City's main man. I think that's Man City's GOAT, to be honest. I have him over Aguero.
I think if you ask a City fan, they'll say Aguero or David Silva.
Of course.
But there's the emotion behind that.
David Silva, I don't think David Silva can chat to KD.
I agree, but I think if you ask a City fan, it's like... I'm not going to say what I was going to say because my missus is probably watching this.
Oh. What the clips? Nah, yeah.
I'll tell you off camera.
Yeah, nah, fairs.
Basically, you're first.
Yeah.
City's first was David Silva.
Right, yeah, okay, that's techie actually. I just deep that. That was real. You probably get yourself into enough hot water now.
Cut that. No, you can keep it in the full pod, just don't clip it on TikTok. Don't put this on socials, innit? Upload it on Spotify, it's cool.
Oh, nah, calm.
I'm so sorry.
Oh, my days. I hear that. Yeah, look, the first was Aguero.
Everyone remembers their first, innit?
Yeah. And KDB came after.
KDB's the wifey.
Exactly.
KDB's their wifey.
KDB's the wife.
But
yeah, David Silva.
David Silva was the first. Everyone remembers who they lost their thing to, bro.
Nah, fair enough, man.
But KDB's wifey, alright?
Yeah.
What a mad comparison.
Bro, you can relate football to anything.
Yeah, you can still.
Literally. But nah, not top 3 for you. Rooney ahead of him.
Yeah. I think
Scholes.
I think Rooney, Henry. No, Ronaldo, Henry, Rooney, De Bruyne.
Yeah.
Paul Scholes for me personally.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, actually. I can't really...
Gerrard,
yeah.
5th.
Yeah, everyone else I'll be debating with, like...
Yeah. Lampard was great.
Yeah.
And if you're a Chelsea fan, I can understand being top 3.
Lampard, Terry, Drogba, their guys were good, but...
Yeah, Drogba was unbelievable. Probably one of the most underrated players of all time from people who didn't watch him.
Yeah, but people just see the numbers.
Yeah.
But if you just had to be there with
that
him.
guy was long, bro.
He was long. Like,
I hated playing against that guy.
Goal, defenders having the hardest day. Ben Foster said like he was the worst player to play against. Even even worse for Henry.
Rio Ferdinand said that as well.
Yeah.
Rio Ferdinand said he hated he didn't mind defending against anyone, but Drogba was ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't imagine that, man. But I think we know how good De Bruyne is, to be honest.
We don't need
go
to
into too much detail about him.
We called him wifey, so
Yeah, exactly. But that is the top 10 then. We'll run through it again. So it was Ruben Dias at 10, Rashford at 9. I should just write this down somewhere. Casemiro at 8, Odegaard 7, Saka at 6, Rodri at 5th, Salah at 4, Kane at 3, Haaland at 2, and De Bruyne at 1. Fair list.
It's fair. It's fair. I think when we put it out to the general public, we're going to get slaughtered for not having Haaland at 1.
Really?
I think so. From the casuals.
Yeah. That's fair. I mean, I don't know, man. I think De Bruyne at 1 is a fair.
I think it's fair as well. I mean, personally, obviously, I had Haaland, but I do think it's fair.
Yeah. Just as a side question, we kind of touched on it earlier, but most underrated player in the Premier League or disrespected, you have in that as Bruno?
Disrespected Bruno.
Yeah.
100% most disrespected. But I will also caveat that with not from English people, but from international fans. So on Twitter and Instagram, any English player
is disrespected. Okay, yeah. I think people see Kane as a baller around the world,
but they always bring up the trophy stuff.
Okay, yeah.
But I think English people who appreciate him being amazing, but I think international fans.
I see combined 11s, and have you seen that combined 11 on TikTok of the guy in the car, that Spanish guy?
No. Oh yes, I have.
Yeah.
Oro Harry Kane, Oro Lorba Lewandowski.
He says it so casually as well. But I see a lot of combined 11s. You'll have guys like Declan Rice in the 11s. You'll have guys like Stones.
Yeah. Do you know what? I'll interject. Yes, people on social media.
Yeah.
Because you're right. When I go to Italy and when I say to my nonno, he says to me how good English players are. He says like Kane is amazing, Rashford, Saka. He says in his England very strong.
Yeah.
That's what he says. England players very strong. But then you see on social media people. I think it's mainly Americans. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
They just other than Liez. They just for some reason they have an agenda against English players.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of international fans on social media think that English players get special treatment from English clubs, but I think it's actually the other way around. Because I think if Mount was from Brazil or Germany or Spain, true. Chelsea wouldn't have let him go.
True. There is also the English tax though, man. It's
crazy.
Crazy.
But it's only because of the homegrown quota.